Well, as Kenyans continue to express their views on the unanimous decision by the Supreme Court to uphold President-elect William Ruto's win in the August 9th election, the clergy now are weighing in, congratulating the President-elect and hailing Kenyans for observing peace during the entire electioneering period. Good evening. I'm Mboya, top in this live broadcast.
The date of the swearing in will be a public holiday of general observance throughout the territory of the Republic of Kenya.
The dawn of a new era. Tuesday declared a public holiday to enable Kenyans witness the swearing in of William Ruto as president.
I'm very grateful at this moment. God has done to me great things that I was not expecting.
Home at last. Kenyan girl rescued from slavery in Saudi Arabia arrives in the country. And the United Kingdom has a new sheriff. Liz Truss takes over as Prime Minister.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Lucy Mora is our sign language interpreter. Our socials at KBC Channel 1, my Twitter handle at Mboya24. Straight to our top story. The Presidential Assumption of Office Committee has declared Tuesday, the September 13th, 2022, a public holiday for Kenyans to witness the transition of power from the fourth all the way to the fifth administration. The committee, chaired by the head of public service, Joseph Kinyua, has now incorporated Davis Chericher, Justin Muturi, and Gladys Boss-Sholay, as well as Veronica Maina, in the team that's overseeing preparations that will culminate into the swearing in of Dr. William Samoei Ruto as the President of the Republic of Kenya. Nancy Okware opens our coverage with that report.
Tuesday, the 13th of September 2022, has been declared a public holiday across the Republic to allow Kenyans time to witness the swearing in of President-elect Dr. William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua.
The date of the swearing in will be a public holiday of general observance throughout the territory of the Republic of Kenya. The President-elect shall take the oath of office as administered by the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary before Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice.
The Presidential Assumption of Office Committee, under the stewardship of Joseph Kinyua, who is also the head of public service, confirming the inauguration ceremony will take place anytime between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m.
With the presidential election cycle now behind us, the swearing in and the inauguration ceremony is an opportunity for the nation to not only witness and usher in our nation's fifth administration, but also to celebrate the strength and vibrancy of our constitutional and democratic processes. The peaceful and orderly transition in administrations is hallmark of our democracy and an essential testament of our nation's status as a beacon of stability, democracy, and the rule of law.
The Assumption of Office Committee now includes representatives of the President-elect, namely Davis Chericher, outgoing Speaker of the National Assembly Justin Muturi, Wasingishu Woman Representative-elect Gladys Boss-Sholay, and United Democratic Alliance Secretary-General Veronica Maina.
As the leadership of our government transitions into the fifth administration, we are called upon to join hands and continue with the sacred work of building our nation, Kenya, a nation worthy of the sacrifices of our forefathers during the struggle for independence, and building the very best nation that we can bequeath to our future generations.
The roles of the Assumption to the Office of President Committee include facilitating the handing over process by the outgoing President to the President-elect, organize for the security of the President-elect, organize for the necessary facilities and personnel for the President-elect, coordinate the briefings by the President-elect by relevant public officers, facilitate communication between the outgoing President and the President-elect, prepare the program and organize for the swearing-in ceremony, and carry out any other activity necessary for the performance of its functions. Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
Yes, Davis Chirchir, Justin Muturi, Gladys Boschole and Veronica Maina onboarded on the team, the preparations team of the swearing-in of President-elect William Samoei Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua. Those preparations have begun at the Moi International Sports Center in Kasarani. Kenya Kwanza's representative in the assumption of the office committee, as I've mentioned, Gladys Boschole, says that exercise was delayed owing to the wait on the Supreme Court verdict, but the committee now has divided itself in varied groups to ensure that it beats the Tuesday's deadline of the swearing-in event. Here's that report.
The Moi International Sports Center Kasarani will on Tuesday, September 13th, 2022, host the swearing-in ceremony for the fifth President of Kenya and his deputy. President-elect William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua will take oath of office from these grounds. The podium is already taking shape. Entertainment groups familiarizing with the stadia ahead of their planned presentations. Military drills too kicked off. A multi-sectoral team constituting the Assumption of Office Committee is overseeing preparations.
And we've split ourselves into various teams. There is a team from the public service that is going to brief the President-elect right about now. There is a team that is heading to State House to also look at the preparations for the luncheon and whatever banquet will be held. There is also the team that I'm with that we have come here to Kasarani just to check that the podium has been planned, both the podium for the VVIPs and also the podium for the inauguration podium. And I think the judiciary has a representative here, so everyone is on overdrive, and I think it's going to take working 24 hours a day for us to be able to complete everything, because everything should be in place by Saturday.
You shall be seeing a state event that carries all the tradition, the character, the flamboyance of a state event, but now nuanced with some little personality spicing, where you will see the signature of the president-elect, you shall see the signature of the deputy president-elect in this event.
It is the third time the 60,000-seater stadium will be hosting the inauguration ceremony of our head of state. Outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto took oath of office from these same grounds in 2013 and 2017.
The President-elect has categorically instructed us that we must be very mindful of the kind of budget that we run in doing this event. In as much as we want it to be beautiful and great, we also want to make sure that we are quite, there's some austerity measures in the manner that we do it.
Preparations at the Kasarani Stadium ahead of the swearing-in ceremony of the President-elect William Ruto gives you a glimpse of how colorful the event would be. Kenyans who turn up here Tuesday will not only witness the swearing-in of the fifth President of Kenya, but also being part of history in the making. Irene Mchuma Odim, the Prime Edition in the county of Nairobi.
From Odim's report, straight to the corridors of justice, the Supreme Court has struck out a petition that was challenging the swearing-in of President-elect William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua on integrity issues. The ruling by the 7-judge bench said the court lacks jurisdiction to determine the case, and the reasons for the petition are incompetent. Sarafina Robi with Scales of Justice.
A legal barrier standing on the way of the swearing-in of President-elect William Ruto and his deputy on the 13th of September has been cleared after the Supreme Court threw out a petition seeking to block the two from taking oath of office on integrity issues. 11 activists had moved to the Supreme Court seeking to stop the deputy president-elect Rigathi Gachagua from taking office on integrity issues against him and the president-elect for nominating him. But the Supreme Court ruled that the petition was out of the court's jurisdiction as the notice of motion was filed on the 8th of August 2022, a day before the general elections and even days before the declaration of the results of presidential elections, contrary to the provisions of Article 140 of the Constitution, which requires a person to file a petition in the Supreme Court to challenge the election of the president-elect within 7 days after the date of the declaration of results of the presidential election. The court further stated that the reasons given in the notice of motion were incompetent. Serafina Robi for Prime Edition.
Home at last, Kenyan girl rescued in Saudi Arabia. We will be back with details of that story that warms the heart. Stay with us.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Kupata Zaburi 18 mstari wa pili, dial star 811 star 817 hash. Mwenyezi Mungu ni mwamba wangu, ngome yangu na mkombozi wangu. Mungu wangu, mwamba wangu ninayemkimbilia ninapohitaji kuwa salama. Zaburi 18 mstari wa pili. Zaburi 18 mstari wa pili, dial star 811 star 817 hash. Star 811 star 817 hash.
Karibuni sana to the Second Chance TV game show.
Tough questions.
Virunga National Park is located within which mountain ranges? Aberdare. Aberdare? Is that your final answer?
Tough challenges.
Nona teammate yako kwenda. 3, 2, 1.
It's a survival for the smartest.
10 seconds to go. Who is the current president of Malawi?
Jakaya Kikwete.
Wrong answer. That is the wrong answer. Does it border to the east? Nakuru. Nakuru County. Nakuru County, you get 2,000 bob.
Premiering soon on Channel 1.
Welcome back to Prime Edition, our socials at KBC Channel 1. My Twitter handle at Mboya24. It is a sigh of relief for the family of Diana Chepkemoi, who arrived Tuesday in the afternoon from Saudi Arabia. The story of the 24-year-old Diana went viral after her pictures were shared on the social media showing her deteriorating state of health. A repatriation was facilitated by the Kenyan government. Our reporter Trevor Ngendo brings you that beautiful story.
Tuesday afternoon at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Tears of joy, ululations and songs. 24-year-old Diana Chepkemoi is finally reunited with her family.
Diana, welcome home. More power, Diana, long power. More power. Long live, Diana, long live. Long live.
Unable to hold back her tears, the Meru University student who deferred her studies and left for Saudi Arabia 15 months ago recounted how her hopes for a better life in the Gulf were shattered.
Mine is just to say, if I can just be honest, mine was just a tip of the iceberg. Watu wanateseka huko. People are suffering there. My friends are suffering there. It's just that mine, nilipata that voice, nilipata support venye niliongea. But people are suffering there, and I'm just pleading with the government, just please do something. People there are mentally tortured, psychologically tortured, and it's not fair. And it's a shame being told there's nothing you can do, there's nothing your government can do. I have power against your government. It's a shame. So I'm just pleading with the government, just please do something. Wasaidie, wanateseka, wanapitia mateso. Nile tu mimi nilipata sauti, nilipata support venye nilireach out. But kuna watu wako huko, mpaka hata mtu saizi ukimuuliza jina yake ajui. Mtoto ukimuuliza kwani ni wapi ajui.
Diana's story went viral after photos of her emaciated body were shared on social media. Photos that caused a public outcry and a massive condemnation by Kenyans on Twitter under the hashtag #BringBackDiana Chepkemoi. According to her mother, Diana's troubles began soon after she fell ill.
We have been communicating well, and she was doing well until up to about 3 months ago, when she said that she was not well, she was not happy, her health deteriorated, she was not happy at all.
Her condition continued to deteriorate after her employer denied her access to a medical facility, accusing her of being stubborn and a liar.
So she will not go until she take the punishment. She know about everything. The liar, she see my heaven. When I come, she will see my fire. Because she play a dirty game. Okay, good.
Claims that Chepkemoi dismissed.
It wasn't rude. I was doing my job. So the problem started where the first time I arrived in Saudi Arabia, I had an issue with her. I reported the issue to my agent. Instead of my agent chipping in and helping me, they just, your issue will swept under the rug. So from there, Kajua, there's nothing I can do. She can do anything to me.
A section of newly elected legislators have pledged to push for laws that will protect Kenyans working in Saudi Arabia.
I want to encourage our children, our youth, not to go outside the country without reason, or even with reason, they should seek for better assistance from within.
Many of our Kenyans who've actually sought jobs in Saudi Arabia have faced almost similar problems. Many have been killed, many have been denied medical access, many have been denied food, many have gone through sexual harassment and other forms of human rights violations.
We will not entertain any more mistreatment of our people. You can see how this girl is. If you can see a servant, it is becoming, it is unbearable. We will not accept it. As members of parliament and the government, the new government in place, I think we are going to be very serious on this.
This may be just one of the numerous of such cases of Kenyans who end up getting stranded in the Gulf under the cruel hands of their employers. This coming at a time when Kenyans have raised an outcry to the new administration to make sure that they bring a permanent solution to this menace. Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Nairobi.
Thanks, Trevor, on that report that speaks directly to the state of unemployment in the country. Obviously, the incoming government having an opportunity to crystallize those problems and identify long-lasting solutions. Now, the 4 dissenting commissioners of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission have come out to express their agreement with a statement that was made by the electoral body's chairperson, Wafula Chebukati, following the decision by the 7-judge bench to uphold President-elect William Ruto's win. In a statement, the 4 commissioners reiterated their stand for the rule of law and respect of statutes that promote the commissioners' effectiveness. Here's that report.
By the IBC Vice Chair Julian Cherera, Commissioners Justice Nyang'aya, Francis Wanderi and Arin Masit had previously distanced themselves from the presidential election results, accusing their chair Wafula Chebukati of handling the process in an opaque manner. The four were further enjoined in petitions at the Supreme Court seeking to nullify President William Ruto's win. And when the Supreme Court dismissed the petitions, Chebukati felt vindicated.
We look forward to the full judgment of the Supreme Court, as well as feedback from our stakeholders during the post-election evaluation exercises, which will inform areas of improvement in the electoral process.
And today, the four commissioners signed a statement in support of Chebukati's remarks, saying the Supreme Court ruling is a testimony that the Commission held free, fair and credible elections. They added that the ruling confirmed their respect for the unanimous decision to uphold President-elect William Ruto's win. The commissioners further said they stand by the rule of law and statutes that promote the Commission's effectiveness. Nyang'aya, however, acknowledged signing the statement even though he was named as Julius instead of Justus, terming it as a spelling error. Isofar reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, religious leaders have urged leaders who will have the opportunity to serve in the country's new government to endeavor to serve all Kenyans equally, regardless of how they voted. While congratulating President-elect William Samoei Ruto, the religious leaders hailed Kenyans for observing peace during the electioneering period. Here's that report.
The religious leaders say Kenyans are optimistic that leaders elected in the incoming government will deliver on their promises.
We congratulate you on your confirmation as the president-elect. As the president, you'll be the symbol of national unity. We urge you to be a leader of all Kenyans.
We pray for the new president and his administration that the Almighty grants them wisdom, strength, and courage to discharge the role of their office and meet the expectations of Kenyans.
Having elected those who will be our leaders for the next 5 years, let us now focus on energies, on holding them to account so that they deliver justice and faithful implementation of the Constitution and the laws of Kenya.
We now urge you to take seriously the responsibility Kenyans have bestowed on you. Focus on wholesome development of the nation. In the meantime, we urge you to avoid abrasive or excessive celebrations, keeping in mind that there are many Kenyans who are wounded and aggrieved.
The interdenominational leaders hailing the outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta for his committed leadership to oversee a smooth transition.
You have led the nation over the last 10 years, during which Kenyans experienced peace and great leaps in development. We further appreciate your expressed commitment to a peaceful transition.
The leaders also expressed their gratitude to Kenyans for choosing to maintain peace during the electioneering period. At the same time, the clergy commended Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition leaders for respecting the Supreme Court judgment despite not favoring their prayers. Kamche Menza for Prime Edition.
A group of women under the Kenya African Women Leaders Network wants President-elect William Ruto to honor his promise to appoint 50% of women in his administration. Led by their chairperson, Jennifer Iria, the women have urged the President-elect to strive for unity of all Kenyans, regardless of their political affiliations.
We appreciate you.
The women from different organizations under the umbrella of the African Women Leaders Network and the Women Mediation Network have committed to work with the new administration under President-elect William Ruto, noting that his win was for Kenyans.
We appreciate the call for reconciliation that you made to other 2022 presidential contenders and all Kenyans in general, irrespective of their political persuasions. Indeed, this is the only way to get the country back to track.
The women leaders calling on the president-elect to prioritize the women's agenda as he embarks on setting his 100 days agenda.
We urge the president-elect, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, to be the second president to be a male gender champion. We know you well.
They lauded the president-elect for always championing the rights of girls, saying it was a clear testament on how he values women. For Prime Edition, I'm Zainab Said.
Hello there. Good boys gone bad. Eric Omondi has evolved from being a comedian to now being the king clout chaser.
How does a gospel artist make money? Jaguar wept again.
As a celeb, as a followers, but it's a time for artists to make bank.
Yes. How is your relationship with Zari, considering that she dates young?
These are accessories.
They do not make sense. Slap the guy.
Yo, what's up? My name is Ted Josiah.
Oh, mashallah.
You sing about serious issues, it will not trend. If you sing about Adhiambo C.
No.
Bahati hata kuwa na machozi. Willy Paul ndo alikuwa anatoa machozi.
For your beat these boys with stones, let's all be logic. Yesu ashukangi chini analeta pesa.
Musicians are missing the point.
Do we sip water?
You are watching pop culture with Adhiambo with a Y.
Songea tukupashe na zile ambavyo vitakupa tabasamu tosha.
Hana mapenzi wala mahaba, mtoto mbaya sana huyu.
What did you just say?
Sio tamthilia tu.
And why you're saying that
Ni tamthilia tosha.
Alinishika hivi. What?
Sio burudani tu, ni burudani tosha.
It is the day that the Lord has made.
Na sinema bomba.
Kabisa kama uelewi kitu inafaa uelewi.
Na mada za kusisimua. KBC Channel 1, shirika la utangazaji Kenya.
Right?
I just don't like the man you're turning out to be.
Nafikiri nilishatangulia kusema sijui Jackie alipo.
Nakwambia nitahakikisha hapa unakaa bila amani wewe. Sawa Kongo. Nimejitia kitanzi lakini wewe ndio utakayekufa. Mbona umetutumia messages za kutatiza?
Kwa sababu nilikuwa na wahitaji nyote mwe hapa. Wajua leo ni siku muhimu sana kwa hii familia, especially to your dad.
Welcome back to KBC Prime. On to Education Matters. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha says that he has no intention of working as a Cabinet Secretary after Uhuru Kenyatta's administration leave office. Magoha, however, says that should President-elect William Ruto see it fit to retain him in the docket, he is ready to be engaged. Here's that report.
Why are you smiling?
Professor George Magoha is one of the cabinet secretary who has had such a busy schedule in the recent days. On Tuesday, the Education CS was inspecting construction of a competency-based curriculum classroom at Currency Girls Secondary School in Langata, Nairobi, in a race to complete 10,000 classrooms before the transition of power.
After the new president is sworn in on the 13th, it will now depend on how quickly he forms his cabinet. Before that cabinet is formed, if there is 1% left, you can be very sure that you sincerely will move around and complete it.
He, however, said he doesn't intend to hang onto the docket, but if offered the opportunity by the next regime, he would consider it.
If in his wisdom the president-elect thought that I could even be half worthy to be considered, we would have a conversation with him. We would have a conversation with him because I've now connected with the children, the poor children. And if we are thinking in the same direction and he gives me the support that I require, which would mean that I do things the way he wants and not any other person, then you may be, if it is God's will, I will say yes.
Magoha said the CBC classrooms construction project is at 96% completion countrywide. noting that the remaining 4% is expected to be complete by Monday 12th September.
We want to leave a house that is clean for the incoming minister so that he doesn't have to start wondering what is this and that and so on. With regards to payment, we are continuing to pay. The money is there, but there are processes. That payment may spill into the next government, but if the building has been done and opened, then the person who has built it should be paid.
Nairobi, Mombasa, Kericho, Bomet, Trans Nzoia and Elgeyo Marakwet are among counties still lagging behind in completion rate to ensure smooth transition to junior secondary school next year. Beatrice Gatonyangetich, Prime Edition.
Now, Kitui County government workers have threatened to down their tools over indefinite suspension of their medical cover by the service provider, Britam. Elsewhere, leaders in Baringo County who were elected on a KANU ticket have called upon their party leader, Gideon Moi, to support President-elect William Ruto in delivering the manifesto to the people of Kenya. These and more stories in our county news roundup.
Led by Baringo Deputy Governor Charles Kipngok and TRT Member of Parliament William Kamket, the leader said it was time for the residents of the county to unite for the sake of development after a spate of banditry attacks.
Niko tu na ujumbe moja kwa chairman wangu kwamba serikali, wewe unajua serikali ikishaenda mkondo huu hakuna kurudi pande hii. Wewe usikae msituni, ingia mahali serikali iko. Sisi tunataka tukuone ndani ya hii serikali, uungane na ndugu yako Ruto. Ruto hawezi kataa Gideon. Wamelelewa pamoja, wamekuwa kwa chama cha KANU pamoja. Kwa hivyo hawezi kumkataa, wataweza kwenda pamoja na baadaye hii serikali ndani anajua baada ya mwaka 10 ambao sijazo labda hata Gideon mwenyewe ndio ataanza kuwa fronted na Ruto kwa urais.
In Kitui County, government workers have issued a 7-day ultimatum for the reinstatement of their Britam medical cover or they go on strike. Faith Moki, who is also the secretary for the Kenya County Government Workers Union Kitui branch, said that thousands of civil servants are suffering from huge hospital bills amidst the tough economic times.
And for more than a month now, we won't be getting services from Britam. We want the county secretary, Bwana Zakayo Kimanzi, to come out clearly and tell us what is happening with this medical cover, because the staff, we have really suffered. Our staff have suffered a lot, and they are going to this health facility and they are being turned away.
Elsewhere, the Vurore member of County Assembly in Embu on Monday night escaped death narrowly after he was attacked and injured by 3 armed thugs who broke into his house in Ishiara, Mboya, North Sub-County. Duncan Mboya sustained injuries. They stole 10,000 from him before abducting him to go and withdraw more cash from a petrol station he runs in Ishiara town. He was saved when the thugs mistook a light from a car behind them for policemen.
It's a very bad experience. Ile ambayo mimi ningeomba serikali wafanye tu juhudi kabisa tuweze kupata wale. It's a very bad experience. Mahali unafika unatandikwa mbele ya mama, mbele ya mtoto, very ruthlessly.
In the meantime, Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire has sent a strong warning to the health workers who allegedly collude with private health facilities to steal drugs and other non-pharmaceutical goods from Embu Level 5 Hospital and other health facilities in the county. Speaking after receiving a 19 million shillings consignment of drugs and non-pharmaceuticals from KEMSA, Mbarire said her administration will not condone any form of theft.
We must ensure that the medications we get, the non-pharmaceutical supplies we get, whether they are gloves or bandages or cotton or whatever consumable that we have, is used for the purpose it's supposed to be used and used within the facility of Embu Level 5 and not outside.
Elsewhere, Meru County Governor Kawira Mwangaza has begun auditing all the county's vehicles and drivers. The exercise conducted at Kinoru Stadium is aimed at taking stock of the county's vehicles, their conditions and the number of drivers.
Kama una gari siku ya leo na wewe ni driver, usitoke hapa bila kuambiwa gari yako ni gani. Jambo lingine, tuna drivers ambayo wameserve for almost 10 years. lakini mshahara wa miaka 10 bado umesimama pale pale pale.
Reporting for Prime Edition, I'm Samuel Karaoke.
And on the global front, Liz Truss is the new United Kingdom Prime Minister after being appointed by Queen Elizabeth II at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. The immediate former Foreign Secretary defeated rival Rishi Sunak on Monday in the race to become the leader of the Conservative Party.
Liz Truss will succeed Boris Johnson, who was forced to resign after his scandal-ridden government lost the support of lawmakers. On Tuesday, both Truss and Johnson travelled to Balmoral separately to meet the Queen. At the meeting, Johnson tendered his resignation, and the Queen proceeded to appoint Truss as Prime Minister. Truss is the third woman Prime Minister of the UK, after Margaret Thatcher and Theresa May, all from her Conservative Party. She later returned to Downing Street, where she addressed the nation. Truss is expected to start naming her cabinet. The new premier is under pressure to announce an immediate plan to tackle the cost of living crisis. Elvis Otieno, Prime Edition.
It was during my days at Skywall. I was a fool.
Have you forgotten you're marrying Suzanne today?
I did. Completely.
Forget it. But I'm still not going to speak with him. Send him away.
My lady, he didn't come here to see you, but Ferna.
In this world, no other woman will love you more than I do.
Karibuni sana to the Second Chance TV game show.
Tough questions.
Virunga National Park is located within which mountain ranges? Aberdare. Aberdare? Is that your final answer?
Tough challenges.
3, 2, 1, go!
It's a survival for the smartest.
10 seconds to go. Who is the current president of Malawi?
Jakaya Kikwete.
Wrong answer. That is the wrong answer. Does it border to the east? Nakuru. Nakuru County. Nakuru County, you get 2,000 bob.
Premiering soon on Channel 1.
Well, I hope that you're doing well this Tuesday evening. My name is Caroline Jenga, and this is Business News. Now, we start with Kenya Ports Authority, where it has commissioned Lamu Port's first 85 tons capacity tugboat with the intention of increasing the facility's cargo handling capacity. KPA Chairman, General Retired Joseph Kibwana, says the authority is also looking into engaging the Democratic Republic of Congo into partaking in the Northern Transport Corridor and increasing cargo volumes at the Port of Mombasa and inland container depot in Nairobi and Naivasha.
Since its commissioning last year, Lamu Port, which is known for its deep bay and a wide navigable entrance channel, was expected to increase the volume of cargo handled as construction of supportive infrastructure was ongoing. This has, however, run into headwinds as activities such as pilotage and tugging had to be handled by vessels from the Port of Mombasa.
We are committed to equipping Lamu to make it full functional, and we are planning, and the board has already authorized the acquisition of additional equipment to make Lamu more efficient.
The Kenya Ports Authority says the 1.4 billion shilling tugboat would help the strategic port reach its full potential, since the tugboat can handle vessels efficiently and effectively.
This tugboat, that's MV Pattern, is part of the Port of Lamu's marine vessels fleet, which will exclusively offer target services for vessels calling the Port of Lamu.
In addition, the port's management plans to acquire more equipment in phases to support the projected increased cargo volumes, including an additional 3 mobile harbour cranes, shore gantry cranes, and terminal tractors.
With that type of equipment, Lamu now will be able to perform its role as a transshipment port and also as a hub for transshipment business in this country.
The tugboat was built by a Turkish company, Med Marine, in collaboration with the Kenya Shipyard Limited at a cost of 1.4 billion shillings. Hibak Said for Prime Edition.
Now, Kenya is seeking to increase coffee production to tap a deficit occasioned by reduced production in Brazil, which is the world's largest coffee producer. The coffee revitalization coordinator, David Njogu, says the production in Brazil is projected to reduce due to bad weather, which could push up global coffee prices.
Kenya is seeking to increase the average coffee bush yield from the current 2 kilos to 10 kilos in the short term, to take advantage of the impending global shortage occasioned by production challenges in Brazil. Estimates show that coffee production in Brazil could reduce by nearly a third in the next 12 months due to bad weather. Kenya is banking on technology to boost this year's tonnage to a record of 200,000 tons without increasing the acreage under coffee.
The issue of the climate situation in Brazil, where the production has fallen, is not going to come back in the next 1 or 2 years. And we have the capacity to stop the gap that has been created.
Through the Kenya Agricultural, Livestock and Research Organization, the Revitalization Committee plans to assist farmers to incorporate technologies like solar drying and digitizing operations to increase coffee production.
And develop a framework of actually delivering these technologies to farmers in the most efficient way, and with that a method that will give us best outreach so that farmers can have this information before the month of November, when we are always preparing our crop for the next season.
Coffee farmers have been earning more from their produce in recent months, with a bag of high-grade cherry beans trading at as much as 39,000 shillings. Benson Ruba reporting for Prime Edition.
Now to the latest in the corporate world, residents of Mokoyo Bay in Migori County have turned to cage fish farming as a result of dwindling fish stocks in Lake Victoria, blamed overfishing. Those keen on cage fishing farming, however, face the challenge of cross to capital to set up the cages. Here are the details of that story and more.
Experts in the local fishing industry say that for one to venture into cage fish farming activities, one needs to have at least 1 million shillings in order to establish one cage, as the equipment requires a lot of money to start, but the returns are good. Farmers are now being urged to embrace cage fish farming if they are to alleviate poverty and create jobs.
As we all know that the natural catch, the fish that was originally in the lake, is becoming less and less. So for the world to continue getting the benefit of protein that comes from fish, then there has to be some alternative production of fish. And cage fish farming has been proven to be one of the most efficient alternative ways of fish production.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Electricity Generating Company, KenGen, and Toshiba Energy Systems and Solutions Corporation have signed a memorandum of understanding anticipating a partnership of operation and maintenance services for geothermal power plants in developing countries, including East African countries, through a combination of KenGen and Toshiba ESS know-how and networks. KenGen Managing Director Rebecca Miano says geothermal energy provides sustainable power supply. So far, Toshiba ESS has delivered 4 sets of 70 megawatt steam turbines and generators for KenGen's All Carrier 1 and 4 geothermal power plants. Finally, Kenya Railways and the Kenya Ports Authority hosted a delegation of business stakeholders from the Democratic Republic of Congo who toured the standard gauge railway facilities as well as the Nairobi and Naivasha Inland Container Depot. The Democratic Republic of Congo is now the third largest market for the port of Mombasa, with a reported market share of 8.2%. Kenya Railways says the visit will boost freight cargo via rail through Malaba to eastern DRC. The team from DRC was impressed by the seamless intermodal transfer of cargo from Mombasa through the inland container depot to the final evacuation points facilitated by smart gates. Alan Auko, Prime Edition.
Thank you, Alan, for that roundup. Now, 12 Kenyan startups are among 60 firms set to benefit from 479.2 million shillings funding and support from Google to scale up their operations. According to Google Director for Sub-Saharan Africa, Charles Murito, the cash will fund the startups' immediate needs, such as paying staff, inventory, and software licenses.
Research by investment platform Partech Partners shows that although funded startups in Africa grow 6 times faster than elsewhere in the world, raising capital remains the biggest challenge.
So we're looking at startups from the entire spectrum. What's critical is that these startups can be scalable, as well as the ability that they leverage technology to be able to deliver their services.
To bridge this gap, Google has rolled out the second cohort of Google for Startups Black Founders Fund for Africa, targeting 60 startups.
50% of the startups we're supporting are women-led or have women in C-level executives, which is something we're particularly very proud of. We're supporting more startups from more countries. We're even supporting more startups from more verticals. So we have startups from the gaming sector, startups from telecoms in this cohort. So really, it was really just an expansion on the good work we did last year, and we're very happy and looking forward to building on this in the future.
Each of the startups will receive a 6-month training program that includes access to a network of mentors to assist in tackling challenges that are unique to them.
Working closely with the Secretariat to look at what are the best practices that will be able to enable and encourage businesses to scale beyond one particular country.
They will also be part of tailored workshops, support networks, and community building sessions. There are 12 beneficiaries from Kenya out of the 60 eligible farms. Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition.
Well, that's all we had lined up for you, but you can find more stories on our website at kbc.co.ke, the business section. That is it from me. My name is Caroline Jenga. Have a good night.
I just don't like the man you're turning out to be.
Nafikiri nilishatangulia kusema sijui Jackie alipo.
Nakwambia nitahakikisha hapa unakaa bila amani wewe. Sawa Komo, nimejitia kitanzi lakini wewe ndio utakayekufa.
Mbona umetutumia messages za kutatiza?
Kwa sababu nilikuwa nawaita nyote mwe hapa. Unajua leo ni siku muhimu sana kwa hii familia, especially to your dad.
What's wrong with it? Everyone at the hotel already knows that we're a couple.
Because the hotel is our place of work.
You were the brat that bullied me in school when my parents were killed.
I'm so sorry, but I really don't remember.
But I remember it all.
Fortunately, it doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's too painful for her and for all of us here as well.
If I don't see you back at work first thing tomorrow, you can go find another job. But Mrs. Lee here, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
Welcome to Sports, and I'm standing in for Richard Munga. After 12 meetings from May all the way to September, the Wonder Diamond League season reaches its climax in Zurich, Switzerland on Wednesday and Thursday. All 32 champions will be crowned during the two-day event, where diamond trophies, top prizes, as well as wild-card entries to the World Athletic Championships in Budapest, Hungary next year are all up for grabs.
The first 6 winners will be determined on Wednesday, where reigning 5,000 meters Commonwealth Games champions Beatrice Tibet will take to the field alongside world 10,000 meters bronze medalist Margaret Chelimo. However, the Kenyan duo will face stiff opposition from Ethiopia's Gudaft Segei, Helgayeu Tawe, Fantu Worku, and Hawi Faisa, alongside Burundi's Francine Niosaba. Jacob Krop, Nicholas Kimeli, and Cornelius Komboi will line up the men's 5,000 meters. That will also see Ethiopians Beriu Arigawi, Selemon Barenga, Abeba Arigawi, and Yomif Kejelcha. On Thursday, Mary Mora will line up in the women's 800 meters, while Olympics champions Emmanuel Coril and Wycliffe Kinyamal will take to the field in the men's 800 meters. World 1,500 meters champion Faith Kipyegon will line up in the women's race, while Timothy Cheruyot and Abel Kipsang are athletes who will line up in the men's race. Abraham Kibiwot, Wilberforce Cornes, Lawrence Kemboi and Amos Rem, and Leonard Bett are all eyeing the 3,000 meter steeplechase title, but will face steep competition from world and Olympic champions Sofian El Bakali.
On to boxing now. The national boxing team hit squad will leave the country Wednesday ahead of the 20th edition of the African Boxing Championship, slated for the 9th all the way to the 18th of this month in Maputo, Mozambique. The Kenyan contingent to the continental showpiece comprises of 5 men, 3 women, led by Nico Koth, Shafi Bakare, David Karanja, Christine Ongare, and Amina Martha, among others. Hit squad is currently training at the Mathare Depot area in Nairobi. The last edition of the African Boxing Champion was held in 2017 in Congo, Brazzaville. And the UEFA Champions League kicked off tonight with 8 matches on card. Defending champions Real Madrid will take on Celtic, while PSG will face Juventus. English Premier League defending champions Manchester City will be up against Sevilla at Ramon Sanchez Stadium.
Celtic's manager Ange Postecoglou has stated that striker Kyogo Furuhashi is available to face Madrid in today's group stage opener. Meanwhile, Manchester City coach Pep Guardiola has said that Manchester City cannot pull all their Champions League title hopes on Erling Haaland after the striker made an incredible start to his career at Etihad Stadium, scoring 10 goals in just 6 games. Haaland is seen by many as being the final piece of the jigsaw as City chase European glory, but Guardiola stressed the importance of the whole team. City face Sevilla before taking on Tottenham this weekend in the English Premier League. In another match, French Ligue 1 champions Paris Saint-Germain will face a tricky fixture when they take on Juventus. The two European giants have not faced each other in a competitive match since Juventus ran a 9-2 aggregate win in the 1996 UEFA Super Cup. Other matches on card tonight: RB Salzburg will take on AC Milan, RB Leipzig will play Shakhtar Donetsk, while Benfica host Maccabi Haifa. Frederick Olwete for Channel 1 Sports.
22-time Grand Slam singles winner Rafael Nadal says that he is unsure whether he will play again after losing in the US Open 4th round. The 36-year-old Spaniard was beaten in 4 sets by American Frances Tiafoe Monday. Nadal is scheduled to play in the Lever Cup alongside Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic and Andy Murray in London from the 23rd to the 25th September. The US Open, which he was bidding to win for the 5th time, was only the 2nd tournament after pulling out of the Wimbledon semi-finals with an abdominal injury after an opening defeat by Boma Soric in Cincinnati. The 2nd seed improved against France's Richard Gasquet, but was overpowered by Tiafoe in front of a ferocious home crowd in New York. Well, I'm told by our floor manager, Muna, that in the Champions League, Chelsea has gone down 1-0 to Dynamo. Now, the COVID situation, the COVID positivity rate in the country is now down to 0.4%. This is after 9 people tested positive for the virus from a sample size of 1,393 over the last 24 hours. Total confirmed positive cases now stand at 338,243, with cumulative tests conducted at 3,862,548. According to the Ministry of Health, no patient has succumbed to the disease, with cumulative fatalities remaining at 5,674. Data from Johns Hopkins University Coronavirus Resource Center shows that over 605 million COVID-19 infections have been confirmed globally, with more than 6.5 million deaths reported since the pandemic started. Well, that's all we had time for. I want to thank you so much for tuning in on behalf of KBC Prime Edition. My name is Mboya. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya. Bye-bye.
Life cannot always be too serious.
Yeah, man, what's up here?
Allah?